Hello students, welcome to Pathak's Computer Academy online classes. In the previous video, we learned about list data structure. Today we will see the similar type of data structure with some differences, that is tuples. Okay? And the contents we covered today related to tuples are introduction, how to create tuples. After that, we will discuss how to access values from tuples. Is there any chances to change the elements in the tuple? And then how to delete tuple, some operations on tuple, and then what are the basic methods that can be used with tuple. And at last, we will discuss the differences between tuple and list, where tuple is very successful and where list will be preferable. Okay, so let's start. So a data structure is a collection of data elements. We already heard about that. Okay, and tuple is also a data structure, but a sequence type of data structure. What it means? It means all the elements are in sequence and we can access that element with the help of indexing. So we can define a tuple as a collection of ordered and immutable object. Okay, as we already discussed, what do you mean by ordered? And also we will discuss in list that lists are mutable, means we can change the data elements of list. But in tuple or tuple objects are immutable, which means we cannot change the elements once created or once initialized in tuple. Okay, the similarity is that between tuples and list is both are sequence data structure. Okay, and the difference we already discussed, that is list is mutable but tuple is immutable. The another difference is that to create a list we used square bracket, but to create tuple we used parenthesis. Okay, we have to use what? Parenthesis. Okay, so how to create tuple? It's very simple. A tuple is created by placing all the elements inside parenthesis, and each element are separated by comma, as same as in the list. Okay, so here you can see that an empty tuple is created. There is no such element. When we asked which type of T1 is, it represents class tuple. One very important thing is to be remember that if there is only one element in the tuple, then you have to supply comma. Otherwise, that will be treated as class integer. This is very important factor. Here, I have included that example. Firstly, what we done, T2 is equal to parenthesis, we include only one element, that is 10, but there is no such comma in that. And then we asked what is the type of T2? It shows it is of int class. So you have to be very careful. If there is only one element, then you have to include separately a comma here, like T3. Now T3 is considered as class tuple. Okay. Again, the same thing as in list, you can include various type of data, either integer or float or string, in a single tuple object. Okay. Now, how to access? There are various things through which you can access the element present in the tuple. First one is indexing. Same as list, tuples can use indexing to access the element. Okay. And the indices starts from 0 to n minus 1. Whatever the length is, minus 1. And again, it is very smart interpreter. So if you want to access an index that are outside from the tuple index, then it will raise an exception, and that exception is known as index error. Okay. Another thing is, we cannot use floating or any other type other than integer in indexing. If we do so, then it will result in type error exception. Nested tuples are accessed using nested indexing, just like list. So here I have included all the points through examples. One tuple is created. Okay. I am going to access first element, then we have to supply 0th index. It will show 10. If we want to the access third element, then we have to supply what? Index number 2. And now here I am trying to access outside of the capability of index for tuple. Why? Because the length is 0, 1, 2. And I am going to try to access index 4. So index error will appear. Now I'm going to include floating point value in indexing. This is also not possible. So type error is shown to you. Now, nested index. Here, there is two lists are included in tuple as a 0th element and 1th element. 0th element is a list, one which have 3 sub elements 10, 20, 30. 1th element of tuple is again a list which have 3 elements also. So if we access tuple of 0, it will include, it will shown the whole list. And if you want to access any one of them, then you have to use what? Nested indexing. T 0th element, tuple of 0th element is a list, and that list we want 1th element. So it is 20. 20 will be accessed. Okay. So I think it is very clear to you how to access values using indexing. Other type of accessing is negative indexing, same as what? In list. And also slicing can be done in tuple 2. Okay, these are the example. Again, I am going to warn you that, or suggest you that you have to use all possibilities in slicing. Okay, plus value, minus value, plus value, minus plus value, minus value, and all other combinations. So here I have taken some of these. One tuple is created T, and in T there are 5 elements 10, 20, 30, 40, and 50. Now I am going to access from 0th, starting position is 0th position of tuple, and it moves from 2 to minus 1, that is 1th position. So it will include 0th element and 1th element. That's why it shows 10 and 20. Now I ignored the last element. So it simply indicate starting with 2th position and move up to the last element of the tuple. So it will shown 30, 40, and 50. Now starting element is ignored, but I supplied the last element, that is 4 minus 1, third element. So it start with starting 10 and move towards third element, that is 40. So 10, 20, 30, 40 is shown. Same like this, all other possibilities is to be checked. Now, as you know that negative indexing is possible in Python, but traversing cannot be done from right to left. It will not shown any error, but it will also never fetch any element. It will shown an empty tuple like this. This is very important point you have to remember. What I am going to try, that is, I am going to fetch the starting value is minus 1th position. What it means? It means I want to start the fetching of element from here, 50, and move towards what? Minus 4. Minus 4 means minus 4 like this, minus 1, minus 2, minus 3, minus 4. So I want to access like this. And in Python, traversing from right to left is not possible. That's why you can see that an empty tuple is fetched. Okay, this thing is to be remembered. Other than this, all the possibilities that I discussed in list all can be done in tuple also. Okay, like this, minus 2 colon blank blank colon minus 3, positive, negative, negative, positive, all can be done with tuple also. So I think it is very clear to you, and I suggest you go through with the Python interpreter, create a small tuple, and then do the same thing as I did, and check how data are fetched when we are supplying different values of starting and stop values. Now, changing in tuples. As we know that tuples are immutable, that means we cannot change the data once they have been assigned. Okay, but there is an exception. What that exception is? If the element in the tuple is itself an object that are mutable, and if so, then data can be changed, just like list, because list is a mutable object, then you can change the value of that list, which is any element of tuple. Here, I'm going to show you. Don't worry. First, tuple is created. Simply value is put it 10, 30, and 40. Now I'm going to insert or update on 1th position. That is 1th position is value is 30. Now I'm going to try to change it with value 20. So this will generate an error, type error, and it shows that tuple object does not support item assignment. Okay, so it is very clear to you that tuple are immutable. But I told you there is an exception. What it is? Now, again, I am going to create a tuple. There is only one item that is itself a list, first element. And after that, second element and third element. Now, I want to change this 30 to 20. So, how I'm going to assign that? T2, 0th position is itself a list, and we know that list is mutable object. And on 0th position, whatever the value present in 1th position, that is 0 and 1, that is 30, that 30 will be destroyed and overlapped with what? Value 20. That is possible. Here you can see that. When I'm going to print T2, it will show the updated value of the list 10, 20, and 30. Okay, so you have to be very careful. If there is a mutable object are inserted in tuple as an element, then that value can be changed. Otherwise, not. Now, tuple deletion. Again, as you know that if we cannot change the element of the tuple, then we cannot delete the element also. Okay, but we can delete the tuple as whole. Okay, with the help of keyword del. So how T1 is created? Now I'm going to try to delete the whole tuple. In the third line, I'm going to access whether T1 is present or not. So it will show an exception, and that exception is name error. Name T1 is not defined. Okay. Now here, I'm going to delete what? A particular element from the tuple. Like this, T2 is generated. Now del T2 of 1th position, I'm going to delete 40. So that cannot be possible because of the feature of immutable. So it will generate an error, that is type error. and shown tuple object does not support item deletion. Clear? So item cannot be deleted, but the whole tuple can be deleted with the help of keyword del. Now, the same operation can be done as we do in list. First one is concatenation. Concatenation can be done with the plus operator. So two tuples are combined into a single tuple. So here I have done T1 plus T2. So it's shown a single tuple. Again, repetition of the element present in the tuple can be done with the help of into operators, asterisk operator. So here T1 into 2. So 10, 20 are repeated again. Membership operator to check whether that element is present in the tuple or not can be done. Like this, 10 in T, yes, true, value will be printed. 14 T, no, there is only 10, 20, 30 is present. So false will be printed. And at last, we can use a for loop to iterate through each element of a tuple, because we already heard that for loop can be used with what? Sequence, and tuple is also a sequence data structure. So 10, 20, 30 is printed. No issue. So it is very easy. Again, I'm going to discuss some methods of tuple. We learned a lot of methods in list, but here in tuples, as we know that it is immutable, there is no, or you can say that there is not a lot of methods available. There is only two methods, that is count and index. As the name suggests, count refers or returns the number of elements in the tuple. Like this, there is a tuple T where 10 is occur once, 20 is occurred 2 times, and 30 occurs 3 times. Now I am going to count 20. So it will represent 2. Why? Because 20 appears in the tuple 2 times. Now I am going to try to count 40. So 40 is not available in the tuple T, so it counted 0. And what is index? Index returns the position of the element in the tuple. And you have to be very careful that it will return the position of the first element that appeared in the tuple. Okay, like this, T dot index 30. So there are 3 items 30, but it will access only first of all for this. So it will return what? 0, 1, 2, 3, third position. Okay. And index, there is 3 arguments that you can supply, but start and end are optional. So here I have taken what? T dot index 20 is to be discovered, and it starts from 0 to 4 minus 1. So it will represent 1 because in 1st position 20 is encountered. Okay. So that's all for tuple. Now I am going to discuss in a very short manner what is the difference between tuple and list. In general, okay, there is no foundation on you. Okay, but in general, tuples are used for heterogeneous data types. Whenever you want to store different types of data, then tuples are used. And when homogeneous, similar type of data is to be stored, then lists are used. Second difference, tuples are immutable and lists are mutable. Third difference, since tuples are immutable, iterating through a tuple faster than the list. Why? Because we know that there is no changes done over a period of time. So in memory, there is a same location the tuple is present. So accessing is faster. Okay. Due to this, due to this, generally tuples are used as a key for a dictionary. As we know that dictionary has a key value pair. So if you want to store key, then tuples are used. Okay, clear? And another thing is that if you have data that does not change, so implement that with the help of tuple. Okay, so it will become write protected automatically. Why? Because of a immutable property. You cannot change the value. So that is write protected. You cannot write anything once created. So that's all for today. Today we learned about tuple data structure. I hope you enjoyed the session. In the next class, we will start a string data type, which is more or less very similar to the list and tuple. So we will discuss string data type in detail in the next class. Thank you so much.